Hi everyone, it's Brooke, and I love shipping. That's right. If you didn't know, I am a huge shipper. And you might not even know what that is, but what it basically means is when I watch a TV show, in order for a TV show to be something I consider a favorite, there has to be a relationship, romantic, on that show that gives me life. Okay? I can't really think of any major exceptions to that rule in my top 10 favorite TV shows of all time. Like, a ship that just destroys me has to exist. I have been that way since I was 12. And I don't ship easily. So there's lots of TV shows where people just diehard ships all over the place. I'm like, it really is sort of a rare thing, but it is a very real deep thing. It's the only time I generally enter online fandom is when I ship something. So it's a part of just my makeup as a human being. It's one of my favorite things in the world. And when I don't have a diehard ship, which sometimes I go years without one, I feel bereft. I feel lost at sea, and it sucks. I don't really have a diehard ship right now. There's a couple things I enjoy, but nothing go write fan fiction for. So knowing this about myself, and for decades now, I have often wanted to translate that into enjoying romance novels, and for some reason, which I want to talk about today, it hasn't happened. And I have tried multiple times with multiple different romance novels, different kinds, different authors, different tropes, historical versus contemporary, blah, blah, blah. And I have just never been able to translate it. So I mainly stick with fan fiction because fan fiction just builds off my TV ships. So it's easy to fall into that. So why? What is not working? Well, I think there's some pretty obvious reasons, just in the nature of episodic, long-form storytelling versus a 300-page romance novel. And just my personal preferences. And TV allows something to be built over a very long time, in real time, it might take years of my life for two characters on TV to get together. And I love a slow burn. There is no better romance than a slow burn for me personally. So TV can do that. A 300-page romance novel can just not do a slow burn. I mean, a slow burn in a 300-page romance novel is generally considered the couple doesn't kiss until halfway through the book. And halfway through the book, I've maybe spent an hour with it. So it doesn't, it's just very different. And it makes me sad because I'm always oh, this is too soon. We haven't had enough pining or angst or just sad feelings. I don't know. There's just not been enough build up, and it makes me sad. But also I like subtlety. In a romance novel, there's not a whole lot of time for subtlety. You think about I love a Jane Austen romance. If you think about Elizabeth and Darcy, they had these subtle moments. Isn't there in the 2005 movie version that hand touch when he takes her hand to put her in the carriage? I mean, and you're just you know what I mean? And I just feel you can't do that so much in 300 pages. And again, tears. I also think that the problem is that I like to be surprised by my shipping. So I love nothing more than when a ship sneaks up on me. When I have been watching a show for like 2 years and suddenly these two characters that I've gotten to know so well and love as individuals share this really like random moment. And it could be just a look, a slight touch, a conversation, a comment from another character or whatever. And then the seed of shipping gets magically and just shockingly planted in my little brain, and then it starts to grow, and like I get obsessed, and then I go online and I'm like, oh my god, does anyone else see this? And then you find your little community, and it's amazing. And you can't do that in a romance novel, because just from the genre rules, you know, going into a romance novel who the couple's going to be, and then they're going to end up happily ever after, which is great and fantastic. And I think super important for those books to exist. I just want to find my way in that world, because I want to love romance novels the way that I know so many people in my own like real life and like online life love them. And I struggle, and I shouldn't, because I love a good love story. I'm just so picky, and I make myself angry about it. But I did want to talk about an author in a series of books that I have found to be quite close. Not perfect, because, you know, I don't think I'm ever going to love anything as much as I love shipping on TV. But Lucy Parker has done a fantastic job of getting me most of the way there, like 80%, which is closer than any other romance novel I've ever read. See, because again, with episodic storytelling, I get a chance to meet these characters generally, not always, sometimes characters start together, but my favorites are, you know, I get to know the characters individually over time and love them as just people before I have to love them as a couple. And in a romance novel, again, there's not much time to know them individually before they get together. Lucy Parker, I think her biggest talent, I think, is an amazing, huge, brilliant talent. And just real quick, it's this series, the London Celebrity series. What she is able to do is create such well-bodied and grounded characters and a contemporary, which I think is important for me, real world-ish setting, that I feel like I know them as soon as I meet them. And that is hard to do. Like, I mean, a chapter or two in, I feel like I've known them for a lot longer than like 20, 30 pages. So you guys, Lucy Parker is super talented. And she builds, so this is in sort of a fictional version of London's West End, but it operates the way you would imagine the West End to operate, just not with the actual people in the real world. And she puts these characters not just in a romantic plot line, but like in a real world, you know, consequences plot lines, where like they have families, they have problems, they have a life outside of their relationship, they're struggling with lots of different things, their relationships have problems that have consequences and things they have to think about, and it's just, she's so good. Lucy Parker's so good. So in the first book, we have Lainey and Richard, and it is a fake dating trope, which is one of my favorites. It's a lot of people's favorites, let's be real. And they're both actors in this new stage production, and Richard's kind of the bad boy, and he has a really terrible reputation, and Lainey is sort of the golden girl, and the like producers of the show want them to have a fake relationship to help Richard's reputation, and they convince Lainey to do this by offering to basically donate a lot of money to a charity very close to her heart, and it goes from there. And the thing is, it's just so good. Every moment. And this is a short book, like, you guys, it's not even 300 pages. But like you get Lainey and like her family and sort of a tragedy that's happened in her life. You get Richard and sort of why he is the way that he is, and the things they're dealing with just on their own. You get really fun comedic moments when, like, they go on this talk show. And I can remember specific scenes from this book in a way that I can't even remember specific scenes in almost any genre I read. Just so memorable, and I love that in this world that she created. Of course, this happens a lot where the couple shows up in the next book. I love seeing Lainey and Richard in the next book, and because I liked them so much as people, and I got to know them so quickly, and I was so invested in them. And like the scene where he meets all of her brothers, and the scene where she's sick, and he takes care of her. Gosh, I remember all of this, and it's just so well done. Like, and I read this a long time ago, and I don't remember books that well, which is sad. And then Pretty Face, which I just finished reading this month. This is about Lily and Luke, and Luke is the director and the owner of this theater and this new production, and he needs someone to come in and play this part. And Lily is this like blonde bombshell, like Marilyn Monroe-esque soap opera actress, so you can imagine all the stereotypes she has to deal with. And Luke takes a chance and puts her in the production. He's a grumpy cat, and she has a lot of, I mean, she's dealing with the way that basically the world perceives her, right? And then they have other problems because Luke is her boss, so there's this power imbalance dynamic. He's not only her boss, he is quite a bit older than her, so there's this age gap, and those things matter. You know, like, it's not just some sexy thing. It's like they struggle with it. They know it doesn't look good. They know there's going to be real world consequences, and there are. They worry a lot about it. It is something that they have to deal with, and not necessarily always in the most positive way. They're flawed individuals. Both of them have some really tragic things happen to their families that they have to deal with that impact them. And it's just, Lucy Parker creates these worlds where you feel like, almost like these people are in your family or in your friend group, and that they are full-body people outside the relationship, and they make sense together when they are in a relationship. And I just love them. And Lucy Parker also always makes sure, I think, that she gives her characters other people in their lives. And I really think that's one of my biggest sticking points with some books. I need the characters to have someone else, and someone else who isn't just all like, yes, be in this relationship. Like, so Lily has that best friend Trix, and Trix and Lily have some very serious conversations, and you learn about Trix's past and sort of a problematic relationship she's just gotten out of, so she feels like a real person. She's going to be the lead in the next book, which is out. I just haven't read it. And it's just really, really good. Lucy Parker, in all the romance novels I've read so far, she, to me, is the most talented writer when it comes to character development. Of, like, not even just in romance. I think she just is amazing at character development. So, if you've ever struggled like I have struggled, Lucy Parker might be worth a try. And I'm going to continue branching out. I listen to a lot of romance podcasts, and I read a lot of romance blogs, and I've gotten a lot of recommendations. My Kindle is full, and I'm striking out there, and I will let you guys know how I progress. And don't at me with negative comments about romance, because We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We love all books here. And I will talk to you guys next time.